Hi guys, I can see that you're here. I can't see your faces, but I see that you're here. So if you want to make a comment or get my attention, you can unmute yourself, you can wave, or you can write something in the chat room, and then I'll know. And there's one other person that wanted to be here, and I think she might be in a different room. So I'm going to send her a message, and then we'll start. I just want to make sure that she has this. Oh, it started recording already. Pause that. Resuming recording. Patty, I'm going to mute you, or you can mute yourself, either way.
Okay.
Thank you. So let me get the PowerPoint up, and I will screen share so that you can see it. Okay. Can you see that? Oh, would someone unmute themselves and tell me if you can see that? Patty or Hitomi?
Yes, I can see it.
Good, okay. Great, and we have one more person that just showed up, so perfect timing. All right. So this is 4 secrets to activate your awakening. Oh, I do want to get a clock here so that I stay on schedule. Sorry that it's a bit of a late start. Technology, I love it, but sometimes it's so slow to get it going. I'm Lynn Cockrum-Murphy. And in this hour together, you can further activate your awakening. I'm going to give you some, as we called it, secrets and tips to increase your inner peace, whether you're meditating or you're in daily activities. And that's really an important key, because when we're sitting in meditation, when we're in contemplation, when we're in nature, it's pretty easy to be peaceful, to be centered. The challenge is when we're in the world, when you're watching the news, when there's a car accident on the road and you're driving by, to stay in that centered place, to have that inner peace that you get in meditation and take that with you into the world, even in the face of drama, is the key. That's one of the goals. So this is for you if you feel alone on your spiritual journey, you're ready to expand, or you like to engage in deep spiritual connection with others. Or you've experienced trauma in your past and you want more relief. So all the things I'm talking about today will help with those. So what can get in the way? Have you felt uncertain about what to do in meditation? It's especially true when we're first getting started. Have you had difficulty maintaining your spiritual practice? Most of us do at some point. Gotten bored with what used to work for you? You know you need to make a change, but you don't know what exactly to do. So up to now, you've probably tried seminars. I know I have. And how many spiritual books or self-help books have you read? Here's my book on there, Unfolding the Mystery of Self, my second book. So I'm going to give you support and hopefully some rewarding experiences. So today's big promise is that you can go from uncertainty or boredom to enjoying the confidence that comes with support and the fun of new spiritual experiences. I'm going to tell you a little bit about about my background, because unless you've read my books, people don't really know. These pictures are rather graphic. If you're uncomfortable with them, um, I'll try to go through them quickly. This is important because who I am today is, of course, in large part because of the things that have happened early in my life and my reaction to that. And I'll explain a little more. So when I was 2.5, I had a nice little family. I had parents and I had 2 sisters. But there was an explosion in the heater and our house burned down. My father carried me outside. I was found on the lawn. He went back inside to save my sisters. My sisters perished in the house. My dad died in the hospital a while later, and I lived in the hospital. I do not know for how long. I had burns on my face and my arm, well, the front of my body. They're not too bad. They still show, but they're not too bad. So that's how life started. Then my mother wasn't home that night. She was at grandma's house, so it was me and my mom. Of course, after that, my mother had great difficulty with her own life, and the dysfunction started. Her drinking started. And that continued. She remarried when I was 4 to a man who was emotionally abusive. And they had, when I was 7, my sister, who's still the light of my life. When I was 9, he died in a logging accident at work with some suspicious conditions. And all that's in my first book, in the Living Hope book, because I talk about what happened and how that affected me, what decisions I made based upon my early life. My mother remarried when I was 10. This was a man with a serious alcohol problem, and life became pretty unpleasant. He was physically and emotionally abusive, and my mother's drinking got worse. When I was 25, my mom and stepdad bought a bar, and within 2 months it was robbed and she was killed. This news article is from a little while after that, because the man that killed her was eventually captured. Took a couple years, but captured, extradited, prosecuted, and ended up with 2 life terms and 40 years. So he was supposed to spend the rest of his life in prison, and he was released, but not until he was in his 80s. So the likelihood of him doing those kinds of activities again were pretty much lessened. So those are my early years, and I had a whole lot of karma that I cleaned up rather painfully, but I cleaned it up during that time. And what I realized is that I knew that happiness was possible. Other people were happy, and I could be too. I believed in something greater than myself. My family had always taken me to church. They didn't stay at the church. They dropped me off. They went to the bar or the laundromat or whatever. But it did establish a belief system in me. At the same time, I saw that belief system didn't do much for my family. So I wanted something more. I knew that there was something I could hold on to and that could help me. The other thing is misery motivates me. So when I get really unhappy, I take action. I'm not going to stay unhappy. And that's been very beneficial. I also found that I'm most content and comforted while I'm in higher states of consciousness. So all together, you can see how this created such an interest in a spiritual path for me. And that's became my life. Today, I live a spiritual life. I live a spiritual practice. I have friends and family and fun, and I love my work. I love helping people through theta healing. access bars, channeling, mediumship, helping people move forward. You know, I help mostly spiritual people, mostly women, move forward in their lives and change the things that they're ready to change so that they can have more of the awakening, which we're all in the process of already. So I mentioned PTSD here because that was one of the things that I was found, or that I found I had through talking with a professional because of the traumas that occurred when I was young. Yeah, so not just soldiers have PTSD. It's anyone who's experienced either a single event, traumatic event. It's usually the kind of event where your own life feels threatened. Or some people have had multiple events like I have. So irritability and angry outbursts are symptoms. And there's a lot more. I love that bear face. So did you know that 10% of people suffer from post-traumatic stress disorder after experiencing severe trauma? So 10%, there are some people who just manage to like put that in its place and cruise on. And resilience is the key. Oh, let me go back a slide. Resilience is the key because some of the traits of resilient people are traits like optimism, traits like allowing people to support them and be there for them, intelligence, belief that you may have heard of internal and external locus of control. Internal locus of control is where you believe that there are things that you can do that will change things, that you're not just a victim. So those were some of the traits that I had. And I did this research because I'm like, how come I went through what I went through and so many of my family members were so dysfunctional and just chose alcohol mostly and some drugs? How did it turn out okay for me? So that research helped. And there's an article on that. It's on my website under the blogs. There's one on resilience. Really hits the key points, and that could be very useful to you because it tells you what are the key points and actions of a resilient person, and you can pick some of those and add them and make your life just a little better, even if you don't have PTSD. So what you'll learn today is secret one, how to respond to turmoil internally and externally, how to overcome perceived barriers, how to receive more of your good, and honor your unique path. So secret one, see if I have more of my notes here. While we're doing this, since I cannot see the chat box when the screen is up with my share screen, you can unmute yourself and ask a question. So at this point, does anyone have any questions? Okay, I'm going to take that as a no. Notes. Okay, I'm going to go by memory. Here we go. How to respond to turmoil internally and externally. So these are three things I want to talk about, but I'm going to go back to the word turmoil. Because of the events in the world, or just politics, or stuff in your family, life happens. And it's very easy to be stressed by that. I talked earlier about how when we're meditating, you're sitting on the pillow, it's really easy to go, everything's perfect, I don't have any problems, I don't have any questions, no stress, in that bliss state. But then, you know, when kids come home and things aren't going well for them, and your spouse comes home and aren't going well, and it really burdens us, and we don't want to carry it as weights on our shoulders, and we don't want to internalize it and let it make us sick. We want to do something with it. So one, getting out in nature is so key. It's so good. It just removes stress. One of the things I like to do when I'm out in nature is visualize the breeze, moving things from my aura. Because with our auras, when you're going to get rid of some energy or old belief system or something, it moves out in your aura. So when I walk in nature, I just imagine that, oh, the breeze is just taking those things away, just cleaning up my aura. It also releases stress, being out in nature. Sunlight is so good for us. Movement of our body is good for us. And pets, I'm sure you've heard about how important it is for us to have pets, be with pets. That's why they take trained animals into hospitals to be with patients. That unconditional love that we get. Besides that, cats have natural healing abilities. So when a cat curls up in someone's lap, they're usually helping them with physical ailments in some fashion. Not usually ever known. I do know one case where friend's cat crawled into her lap and she had had stomach cramps for most of the day. And the kitty crawled into her lap and those cramps went away. And it doesn't make the animal sick. Generally, they know how to release that. They don't hold on to stuff like we do. Then going within, insight meditation is a good one in that it gives us an opportunity to access information about what's going on without having to have someone tell us. That we get it from our own higher guidance. Going within, because then the stress in our body calms back down. Blood pressure returns to normal. The hormones change, and the serotonin, dopamine, the amounts of those change. So that's the first one on how to deal with turmoil, stress, pressure, and happiness. Secret 2 is about overcoming perceived barriers. Now most of us have barriers or walls that we put up because life bombards us. Whether it's someone with a screechy voice, too much noise in the city, loud noises, unexpected noises, people who want things from us, all of those things that happen usually teaches us to kind of put up walls, particularly for people who are empathic or hear other people's thoughts, any of those kinds of clairaudience, clairsentience, etc. Makes it so that until you learn how to manage that, you tend to put up barriers. So I'm proposing make a change. Lower the barriers. We can do that anytime we're in a safe place. So right now, would you imagine that maybe you have put some walls up or some barriers to protect yourself from other people's energies, from any perceived threats. Now just visualize that coming down, down, down. I like to take it down all the way down to my feet. And then I notice that my whole body kind of relaxes. It takes a lot of practice to remember to do this. Some people put an app on their phone that reminds them, lower your barriers. And I'm going to give you another good reason why you want to do this in just a minute. But because it's a habit we've practiced since maybe even before we entered school, you want to do it often. So remember to lower your barriers. And notice how different you feel when it's down. I could hear a bit of a difference in my voice. The voice calmed after I just did this. All right. Secret 3, how to receive more of your good. because we live in an abundant universe that totally has our back and wants for us to be happy, to know our full self, to awaken, and to have the abundance that's available. So to receive more of the good, again, visualize lowering those barriers, dropping them down around your feet. They're there for you to grab if you want them. Dropping them down. And now imagine yourself open, like your chakras opening, your energy field opening to receive from the abundance and the love and the generosity of Source, of the totality of all that is, of Creator. So you can feel when you do that, when you drop the barriers and then you open to receive, you feel more energy coming in. Once this was pointed out to me, I was having my bars run in Access Bars, and the person was doing some healing work at the same time. She said to me, you know, you'll get a lot more out of this if you could lower your barriers, drop down those walls, and let the energy in more. So that was one example of where it was apparent. And I'm saying that we can do this at any point. Sometimes people have to address their sense of worthiness to even get more out of this. Particularly if you're like open and then like, no, I'm not open, no, I'm not. So address the issues of worthiness on how much you can receive. Because I really do see life as a beautiful, positive thing. And that we can have more of that. So continue to practice, open, to receive more of the good. And the last one is honoring your unique spiritual path. So a lot of us don't go to temple, don't belong to a church, but we do have a faith, belief in something greater than ourselves, maybe belief in the universe, and it feeds our soul. We want more of that. So meditation is certainly a piece to add if you don't have it already. And I acknowledge the fact that meditation is really difficult to get started with. I remember those first years just squirming in my seat. But my back hurts. And you'll get past that. I did. But meditation changes us. It changes the wiring in our brains. It changes our view of the world. It heals us physically, emotionally, and spiritually, mentally. Meditating with others really helps. Meditation group. So many people who take my classes comment on, oh, but it's so much more fun to meditate here. Because when I go home, it's hard. It's just me. But there's something about the vibration of being with others and the intention. It makes it easier and it changes it. Increased meditation time helps so more frequently. And I don't mean that you have to increase the time to like an hour a day. There are people that do that. The Dalai Lama spends 3 or 4 hours a day. I don't know if it's all meditation or if it's in his other parts of his spiritual practice. But starting with 5 minutes is great. And add a minute, make it 6. And within a week, you'll be at 10. So just adding, you'll get more out of it. But guided meditations take you to new heights, deep awareness and healing. So there's guided meditation, there's music meditation, there's walking meditation, so many kinds. So do what works for you, your unique spiritual path. You know, we don't all have to be like people we see on the internet. We can just do it our way, and it works. What's unique about my approach is generally there are few opportunities to constructively address where you feel stuck and to incite new experiences. If you're on your own, it's kind of like, I'm not sure what to do. Maybe I'll look through the internet and find something new. And yet, it's pretty overwhelming going through the internet. And you have to discern, is this person good for me? Is this good for me? Or is this getting me off track? It takes a lot of discernment. So I use proven meditation processes, methods, and spiritual practices that I've developed through my own healing to activate your breakthrough. So that would be over 45 years of input, studying Buddhism and Hinduism and Judaism, different parts of Christianity, doing being contemplative, practicing a lot of different kinds of meditations. Again, it's about your own unique way, my own unique way. And then I like to share that. It's much more fun than just keeping it all to myself. So the road you're on now, I think it's really important to mention that we are the way showers. I don't have other terminology for that. But we are the people that the world's been waiting for. We're the change agents. And it's like membership is declining in a lot of churches, but not so much in the New Age movement or the New Thought churches. Or look at how yoga is offered at the gym. Yeah, it used to only be in India. Tai Chi is in most parks. So this is the right time. We're already into the new phase. People are awakening. In fact, if I were to ask you, are you in the awakening process? Last time I talked to kind of a group of 25 people. Majority of them raised their hands. So we are the way showers because we know that there's so many people that haven't woken up yet. So we're helping them and ourselves. So how will you get to where you're going next? Which path do you choose? Oh, your gift for attending today is I'm going to send both of you both the audio files. One is a Light, Sound, Love guided meditation. It is about 15 minutes. It might be 13. And then a how-to and a benefits of meditation. The how-to gives some pointers to make it easier. And the benefits of is just kind of a listing of things that it does for you, body, mind, and spirit. So I will send those to you today. Okay, there we go. So if you want to go deeper, you want support in your process, new awarenesses, join me for my newest webinar. The big one starts Friday morning. That is the 16th. And it's 3 hours. And then Saturday, the 17th, it's 3 hours. So it's 6 hours altogether. So a lot of good stuff in and out. I will show you what those are in just a second, what we're going to do. So just to review the 4 secrets to activate your awakening. Be aware of how you respond to turmoil. Use nature, pets, and going within. Overcome perceived barriers. Drop them. Drop down your barriers, your walls. Feel that softness. I think that one of the key words about that is vulnerability. Puts us in touch with our vulnerability. But there's times that it's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay that you're safe enough. And then, when you get in your car and have to stop at the Circle K or the 7-Eleven, it's okay to have them back up. And how to receive more of your good, being open your heart, and let the generosity of the universe, source, come in. And then honor your unique path. We get to do it our way. We live in the United States. We don't have to be one kind of religion or another. We have so much freedom with all that here. And some other countries have that. It's one of the special things about living here. So I want to pause for just a second and see if you have any questions. When I'm done with the slide presentation, then I'll check the chat room. But if you want to unmute yourself and say something, please do. Okay, so the 16th and 17th, this Friday, Saturday, the webinar, there will be guided meditations, discussion, Q&A, spiritual guidance, introspective activities where you get to look at yourself and think about what you want, make some decisions, choices. There'll be topics for contemplation and support for your own unique journey. Guided meditations, like 10 of them over the 2 days. So imagine what it could be like to have a sense of guidance, to know your growth is supported, to have someone to ask questions of, someone to trust, and to ignite your awakening. So the highlights of Unfolding the Mystery of Self. I was going to remove that bird-like thing. This is my least favorite of the transitions. In Module 1, we spend an hour and a half on I'm Found in the Quiet Within. And to reach the quiet, we're going to do breath and chakra opening. We're going to talk about some quotes from my book, Unfolding the Mystery of Self. There is a being or doing, a human being or human doing activity in it. You meditate as the observer, and we meditate on the sound current. So that's all in the first hour and a half. And then in Module 2, the focus is I'm infinite. We go deeper to see ourselves as individual, more expansive, and one with all. We'll do an infinite meditation. We'll practice non-judgment. We'll talk a little bit about benefits of meditation. We'll do another breath and chakra. So one's a chakra clearing, one's a chakra opening. We'll set intentions. Again, there'll be some quotes and some time for conversation. Then on Saturday, we start Module 3, I am an eternal luminous being. We change our view from I'm my body to I'm an energetic being much more than my body. So one of the reasons we talk about auras is auras, having your aura photographed, seeing a picture of your aura shows you that you don't stop here. You expand out. Like, you can't even see how far out my hands go. So it's a great way to realize the energy that we are. Practice receiving. We'll meditate on who you really are. We'll discuss some quotes from the book. And there are 2 meditations out of the book that we'll do, guided meditations that I'll do with you. In Module 4, we are one, all about oneness. To activate your awakening further, to experience oneness with all that is. We'll talk about neuroplasticity, the wiring in the brain, and what we can change. Meditate on I am that. Meditate on you as creator. It's an analogy. And there'll be additional meditations if time allows. Again, we'll talk about some quotes from the book. I'll make time for questions. So that's how we wrap up on Saturday. So the value of the webinar, those are the 4 components: quiet, infinite, eternal, and oneness. So you get the 2 days of live interactive video, training in the 4 modules. That's its value. And then the ongoing mentoring and questions answered in private. We'll have a group call that's just for people that attended the webinar. And then I'm going to do a private consultation with each person one-on-one. So that won't be in the group, but for the members who've attended. So if you choose to do this, your investment for the entire webinar and the follow-up call and the bonuses is about $1,900. And I normally offer it at $997, but Right now, we're going to do it for $4.97, and that just lasts for 72 hours because then we're into the webinar. So there's the link, but if you can't copy it down, I can send it to you. So there's several bonuses that come with it. A 12-minute audio recording. It's a guided theta brainwave state. It's advanced meditation. I did not meditate using the theta brainwave state in the beginning. That was alpha state meditation. But deeper is theta, and that's more like, monks who meditate on a daily basis for years. It's the levels that they go to. So I teach that. You get a copy of my book, the ebook version, not the hard copy. So this book. The group training, and then the questions and answers call after the 2 sessions this Friday, Saturday. So I've scheduled it for next week to follow up on your progress and answer questions. And on that group call, I don't have an agenda and I don't have slides. It's meant to talk about what you want to talk about. And I've added another bonus, and this is the 9 ways to bolster your resilience article that I wrote. So that's included. So if you sign up today, you save over $700. And you get to take the Unfolding the Mystery of Self, 4 Secrets to Activate Your Awakening webinar. So the 4 secrets are in it, but the 4 modules with all the other information. So if you sign up early, you get the 15-minute one-on-one consultation with me to explore your most pressing spiritual issues. That'll be fun. So people who've taken this, because I've taught the same webinar in person as a workshop several times. So Gail released decades of regret. And Vicki experienced deeper meditations than she had been. Pauline changed her relationships. And it was interesting watching because we did it in 4 different sessions instead of 2. And how things changed with her family members over those 4 weeks. And Bobby experienced second sight for the first time. So your guarantee is that you will experience spiritual growth. I think most people do and will, particularly because we're in this time period. That you'll get to experience it with support and a little bit of direction, someone who can see you where you're at and help you expand upon that. You'll deepen your meditations. In fact, in the last class that I taught, one of the women said, I asked, what kind of meditation do you like most? And she said, your guided meditations. The other person said so too. It's just easier when you have someone guiding you. You'll expand your understanding of self as infinite. It's a beautiful experience to know how vast you really are. So what you get, let's see. The 2 days of webinar, the guided theta state meditation, my book, group call to follow up, the article, and then the private one-on-one session. So your investment today for the entire webinar series and the follow-up call, plus all the bonuses. There's this value, that's what I would normally charge. And it's $4.97 in the next 72 hours. Again, there's a link to get connected. And once you connect into it, it offers you payment plans and things like that. So you don't have to pay it all at once. What's possible? One woman attending the workshop reported realizing the guided meditations that she released emotional burdens she carried for several decades. She said it was like having baggage lifted right off her shoulders. She reported the comfort of inner peace and self-acceptance. It's so nice to watch things change like that for people. So, you know, and no matter where you're at, always shift. So no matter what you came for into the session, more is available. You know yourself as infinite. You can know yourself as a luminous light being. And part of why I say that is because I had that experience of seeing myself kind of like outside of myself as a light body, kind of like walking by in front of me. And holy cow, that's the energy that is me. I'm just seeing it without the body. It's kind of cool. And I think that things that we stressed about lowering barriers and being open to receive, if you practice that in itself, practice your meditations, you'll create more of that expansiveness that most of us are looking for. So I'm here to help. Register today. Here's the website again. And if you have questions or you want more information, this is my phone number and my email Gmail account. So you can contact me. You know, I do work with people one-on-one. So one of the things that I'm started doing with people, actually there are two things. One is if you do the 2-day, the 16th and the 17th, after that you can do a follow-up VIP day, which is just 4 hours of time, just you and me, doing a reading, a healing, a body scan, guided meditations, and then personalizing it to other things that you might need, DNA work or healing a baby in the womb or repairing the tears in the soul or in the aura. And the last thing we do is a future reading. And the future reading is done last because all the work that we'll have done, life will have shifted and changed over those hours. And the future reading is to see, like, where are you going? So that's one thing that is available. And then the other is 3 months to work with me for 3 months and have 9 sessions of varied length. Some are an hour, some are shorter, half hour, some are 15 minutes, check-ins. To do that for 3 months. So it's an intensive. So it's like 2 different kinds of intensive. So if you're interested in those, just let me know. I'm going to drop the screen share in just a second. Let me know, because then we can create those for you and we'll personalize them for you. So I'm going to stop the screen share now and want to see. Okay, this you told me. So do you have any other questions? Are there things that you want to talk about that you didn't put in the chat room? Let's see. I know I have the ability to unmute everyone. Let's see this. Oh, unmute. Okay. So Patty and Hitomi. Oh, there's Patty's unmuted. Hitomi, you might have to unmute yourself. There you go. Okay, so comments, questions, anything that I talked about that you want to ask about? You have the secrets to activate your awakening. We have the stuff that's coming up starting Friday. Comments? Questions?
I do. I am interested in guided questions, guided meditation, because I like to start meditation, but it's really difficult. So down the road, I would love to learn how to do it.
Okay. I will send you the 2 audios as soon as we're done here. So
Okay.
you'll have that. Actually, I think do is I send, it's actually 4 of them, and I do that because it's easier than me breaking them apart. I just need the whole package. So you'll have that. Then if you want to start on Friday, that special is still in place. And like I said, we do about 10 guided meditations. That will certainly get you going. The other way is, you can just do private sessions with me, and we can do a guided meditation each, or a couple of them each time, and talk about that. You could do the 3-month thing where you get 9 sessions. I'm going to say, I was going to say that I did a guided meditation with a woman the other day who's about 72. And she's not a meditator, and it was so cool to see her get up into the theta state and see the peace that she experienced. She didn't really want to talk afterwards. She was in that really happy place.
That's wonderful.
So those are so those are some of the options. I think you probably have my phone number already, and I know you have my email.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Oh, you're so welcome. And Patty, how about you? Any questions?
No, I don't, Lynn. I have been looking at coming down for a theta class. So this was really, I just wanted to get a feel for you, and I really enjoyed it. Unfortunately, this weekend I have to work, so I won't be able to attend or even be able to afford anything right now. I was sick all last week. So this is a great, thing for the future, and I appreciate your time.
Okay. The theta classes, if you look at my website and you see when I have classes scheduled and it doesn't fit your work schedule, you can ask me to schedule one like a couple months out that does work for your work schedule.
Oh, that'd be great.
I did one this last weekend because one of the women, she's already taken a couple classes with me, and she makes her living from her spiritual work. And she took Digging Deep with me this weekend, and we scheduled it several months in advance and on a weekend because she works Monday through Friday.
Okay.
And so often I schedule my classes during the week because my husband's at work, and then, he
Right.
doesn't intrude into his life. So there's that. And then have you looked at Vienna Stibble, who created Theta Healing? Have you looked at her website?
Yes, I have.
Oh, good. Good. Okay.
Yes, I have.
Yeah.
So, everything that you went through today clicks. It makes sense. It's a practice. It's it's a journey.
It really is.
It's a journey. So I'm working it, but I just, I want to do, I'm up in Sedona, and I really want to do a theta. And I just learned about the access bars, and that is really fascinating to me too.
2 very different modalities.
Yep.
With access, you don't really talk that, or at least with the bars, that you set an intention, and then we do a clearing to make sure that you get everything out of it that you can. But then people just tend to fall asleep. It's just very mellow. With theta, we talk, and then I'm releasing my ancestors' belief in poverty, or that belief of I must work hard for the money. Those are old, unnecessary things now. Or the blocks to money, or blocks to our healing abilities, such as I'll be killed for being a healer, or if people find out that I have intuition and how much I use it, that I'll be locked up for that. All those old things, clear them, and you get to know what they are. So there's really a lot of the difference.
Oh, they're huge. Being sick last week, I had an acupuncturist run the bars with the acupuncture, and it was very peaceful and healing and amazing. So I'd never heard of it. So and then I saw that you did that. So I found that really interesting. But I'm very interested in the theta, and maybe I will contact you to maybe for something over the summer. That's when our season slows down here.
Oh.
And maybe we could do the basic. But I appreciate your time, but I have to jump in the shower and get ready for work.
Well, it's time to wrap it up anyway. So I look forward to hearing from you in the summer, and Hitomi, I look forward to hearing from you. Oh, looks like Hitomi checked out. Okay, Patty, I'll let you go. And I
Thank you, Lynn. Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.